Hi Capricorn, welcome to your July 2017 general tarot reading. It's Rena here. Shuffling the cards. This one keeps coming up in a different position. Okay. The first thing that I would say, this is a general focus, but one thing that kind of jumped out at me is if some of you are dealing with an inheritance issue with a father, an estate, there may be still something that, in other words, it may not be totally resolved. You're trying to resolve it, but it's still up in the air, okay? And there's bitter feelings around it. So that's just one thing. Because I got, how many kings did I get? Well, I got 2 kings. Those are fathers. Okay, so let's look at this. Because we have the death card and we have the justice card. So a lot of times I think of inheritance issues with those 2 cards. The legal system and death. But death doesn't have to be obviously physical death. It can be divorce. And you could have issues with maybe a custody battle too. Okay. And, okay, I was going to say continue, but start. Justice card, this is also the sign of Libra. This is the heart of the matter. And you want fairness in whatever situation is involved. This could have to do with a job. Maybe you felt like you were unfairly terminated from a position. Okay, we have in the past the death card. So this could be some ending that you did not initiate. And I would say, this is just me saying this, that whenever the death card comes, it can be very abrupt, like you didn't expect it, and it doesn't have to be fair that you were let go of something. But in my particular case, how I feel about these things is that they're meant to be. Maybe you were staying someplace that really was not good for you, and you had outgrown it, and so the universe had to push you out of that situation, and you may be obsessed with the justice of it because you may feel like it was totally unfair, unwarranted. And so I'm just getting you to think about it a different way. If you really feel like pursuing a legal case regarding it is going to be self-empowering, then that's something you have to decide. But if it's uncomfortable or unpleasant, if it's generating feelings of disharmony within you, then it might be telling you that it's not worth it, that it's not going to bring you what you want, it's not going to bring you happiness, and you might just want to settle out of court or just to let it go altogether. But obviously every situation is going to be different. And with any kind of marital situation, likewise, you may have felt that your partner cheated on you, and maybe your partner cheated on you and then they asked you for divorce, and you're like, well, okay, but you're going to pay for this. And you may use the child as a guise for asking for all this money, when really what you want is revenge. You want to take them to the cleaners because you want to, because you feel hurt. And so That's what I'm saying. I'm just feeling like this sense of forgiveness is in order. Even when it feels like that's the last thing that you should be doing. Okay, we have in the present tense the Four of Pentacles. And this is, I'm sure this is you, because this is you anyway. I mean, this is how you act anyway. See, the person's like, just like embracing money. And so this can be somebody who's a very shrewd money manager, but also somebody who's a little bit too tight with money. You know, they're a little bit too obsessed with holding on to their money. But, you know, you are a sign that I would call frugal. And you may be feeling like you have to count your pennies because if you're like, let's say you're getting divorced, you're going to be on your own. Let's say you were counting on some kind of inheritance and it hasn't come through yet. It's still undergoing litigation. You may be like a little bit over controlling the purse strings for whatever reason. If you're in between jobs and you're like, I have to make ends meet. But the thing that I would say about this as well is that it could be causing you to, as I said earlier, use that as a reason, use money as, use a child as a reason to get a hold of somebody else's financial, whatever you want to call it, their financial resources in order to enrich yourself. And there may be a good reason for that. If you are taking care of the child primarily, you might feel that you're owed that money. But you have to question your motives if you're really doing it for the right reasons. The higher message is the King of Wands. This can be your ex. But this is like a higher message, so I'm thinking that they're talking about the nature of this. This is very masculine energy. It's very aggressive energy. It's fire plus the masculine principle, the yang. And fire is yang. So it's double masculine. So it could be asking you to look at yourself. Where have you been controlling? Have you been a bully? Have you been trying to get your way and not willing to compromise because you feel hurt with a situation? In the workplace, did you abuse your power? And that's kind of what led you to lose favor with the people around you. Did you kind of... it is in the upright position. If I had drawn it in the reverse position, it would be very much like out of control. But even in the upright position, when somebody has a lot of masculine energy, it's very easy for them to overstep their boundaries, or cross over other people's boundary, because they just are naturally leaders and take charge. And so I could see somebody who had some kind of authority and they abused it, and they didn't do it maliciously. They did it because perhaps they thought that was what being a good leader was. Again, this can relate to your father. If your father was a looming figure, and like a larger-than-life figure, maybe somebody who was very even authoritarian. And somehow either they have died or you feel their influence in some way, maybe with a person that you're dealing with, the father of your child. You're projecting your father and your relationship with your father onto every man that you meet and acting like they're trying to control you when really they're just standing up for themselves. It all depends, obviously. But maybe the universe is trying to ask you, how do you express power and how do you accept other people's authority? Or do you have a tendency to kind of balk at other people telling you anything? What's crossing you is the Three of Swords. This is a feeling of rejection. And this is like not being able to get over this. So this can be in the form of a marriage that went bad. Whether you initiated the divorce or not, it doesn't matter. This could be a card of betrayal. If your spouse cheated on you, it may be hard for you to really get over it. You might have the Justice card, showing you that the decision has been made and you're still stuck in this place of feeling like something happened to you that was really traumatic, and it's very difficult for you to kind of reconcile with this event. The three can sometimes mean three parties involved as a lover's triangle, and you may have just decided, I'm not going to participate in that. But there is still that thing going on, because if that person, let's say that person is the father of your child, you still have to deal with them in some way. And so you feel like the wound can never heal because you always have to see that person. In the workplace, you may have felt like somebody got a promotion that you were supposed to get, and that just killed it for you. You couldn't, that's maybe what the Death card was to you, that you felt that sense of betrayal, and then you couldn't really work under those conditions, and you may have hired some kind of a litigator or dealt with human resources to kind of remedy the matter, and it doesn't erase the hurt, that's the thing. What's coming in, or the advice, is the King of Swords. By the way, yeah, I should have mentioned, with the Three of Swords, there may have been some kind of, if this was an inheritance issue, there may be other parties, siblings, or the second spouse, whoever, who is trying to fight with you for this estate. And they may have been, before that, you might have thought that they were really getting along with you. And it's like, all of a sudden, when money was involved, they just turned on you. And you may feel this sense of like 3-on-1, that they've totally changed and they're just like trying to get rid of you. And the King of Swords is a card that represents someone who is either a judge, so this could be going along with a legal decision, and maybe there is going to be a preliminary decision, and I'll tell you why I say preliminary in a minute. But this could also be an air sign person who is very helpful to you. Maybe this is some kind of person that you consult. Like I said, with human resources, somebody who's a mediator, but also very intelligent, maybe who knows the law, even knows certain policies. They're the head of something. This could be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius person. But maybe some kind of advisor comes in and helps you. And the outcome is to be continued, because this is the Hangman, and it's about maybe something is being put on hold. So you have to learn when to let go and let God. This is what this card represents, Capricorn. And you may have done a lot of your own investigation into the matter, but now is the time for you to accept what is happening and to move on with your life. You can do it. You can, you're the kind of person that can, that has to learn how to not do, because you are very proactive. And sometimes people like you, cardinal signs like you, can be very proactive at a time when there's nothing that they can do, and then it just becomes overbearing. And it actually might even create resistance because you're trying too hard to force the universe's hand, so to speak. So there's a time for action, and then there's the art of allowing. And now is that time. So anyway, Capricorn, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please go to rainamoonastrology.com. The link is below. I wish you all the best in July. Bye.